relative to how much I played.
I see. I see. So usually you see, you usually see some kind of improvement, but this season it's
Uh-huh.
like, what's going on? I also noticed you played a lot of flex queue. Is there like any reason for that, or?
Yeah, I'm basically like an MF one trick,
Mm-hmm.
but when I hit Diamond, I thought I should play Ashe because she's like more. I feel like she's more of like a standard ADC because she's a. I don't know. She doesn't. I basically don't want to have to like rely on like MF's ult because it's like sort of free just to like ult her team. But with
Mm-hmm.
Ashe, you have to like really learn how to position because she's like immobile,
All right. All right.
thinking or not. But I basically just like do what Ellis says.
Oh, what does he say? Oh, like his tier list or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, he says like MF is good, and then
I'm
like
trying to
once you hit
like,
Diamond, you can play Ashe and Lucian.
I'm trying to pause on the on the scoreboard here. So, first question is, what can you tell me about this bot lane? Right. So, how do you win lane? How do you lose lane?
Um, so lose lane by getting hooked, or if Janet gets hooked,
Right. Right.
I
You
can win
clear.
lane by like taking favorable trades as Janet's shield and
Mm-hmm,
like auto
mm-hmm.
W and stuff. What else?
And if Janus shield is
I
down,
guess I just have to. Mm-hmm.
does that mean you can
I
trade
don't
with
want to
Varus
trade.
or yeah. Okay, good, good, good. And then, do you want to push or do you not want to push or what? Like right now,
Um,
do you want to push?
I want to push probably because their level 2 is strong, but maybe not.
I would
I would say yeah.
say
I would push
I would say
always. I
yes,
think.
but cautiously, because like somehow we're like
Yeah,
he's missing flash and you're missing flash, so usually it'd be like yeah, let's push. But now it's like
yeah, that's
could be
true.
in question, right? Because what happens when oh Jesus he got the blitz is going
Yeah,
all sorts of cheese today, huh? Well, I guess that's standard
yeah.
now. Oh Jesus Christ, what's going on? Anyways, um, that's kind of awkward. I think trading is okay.
Was that W? Like worth it?
Oh yeah. I would say that's fine, right? That seemed fine to
Mm.
me. It just I was just thinking maybe you didn't want to like fight him because like you didn't have your Janna, right? But I mean, honestly, it's like not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I don't think. And it looked like it's not like you lost the trade, right? So not too bad. What I'm worried about is like this no flash situation is kind of weird because usually you want to just like push them in, right? In this lane, would you agree that so have you ever heard of the whenever someone says absorbing jungle pressure, what does that mean to you?
Basically, you sort of bait the jungler, enemy jungler, to come into your lane, and if they don't get something off of it, then they're like not getting as much value from their time as yours, hopefully.
Right, exactly. If you can somehow bait the enemy jungler into your lane and they don't get a kill or they don't get enough out of it, whatever that enough is, then they're wasting their time and your jungler is not wasting his time, right? So usually I
Yeah.
would be saying, yo, let's like push this in and then all you have to do is flash the hook, right? And stay away from blitz, flash, E range, and you're good to go. But in this case, it's like you have no flash and some weird shit is going on. You even see Lee Sin top, so we know this is a 2v2, but
Yeah.
you couldn't get the push on, right? Because they got to lane first in a way because you didn't have like your Janna. Oh, this is awkward. Um,
Yeah, that's just pretty bad by me.
so the first thing to note is that whenever you're what's it called, like trying to last hit on their tower, um, it is better to basically you almost never want to get hit unless you want to get hit, if that makes any sense, right?
Mm.
Um, and
You mean
CS
like if
is
you're baiting
like
or something?
it's basically the rule that your HP matters more than CS in the laning stage, right? In the laning phase.
Okay.
As long as you're not losing like 30, 50 CS or something like that, your HP like when you so basically what I'm trying to say is that if this was like Deft or like Ruler for example, they would pretend to go for this, but in their head this is like gone, right? They're trying to bait the hook out so that they can get the rest of these minions, right? So they're basically you never want to get hit unless you have like a jungle here and you're like,
Okay.
oh, I'm baiting, right? Basically, never get hit for like CS, right? So say for example, Jenna, you waste her tornado and her shield like for like no reason or something, and she comes back to lane, and you can't farm the next minion because Varus is gonna auto EU, right? That's a bad trade. You don't take the minion, right? Or maybe you do if the trade isn't that bad, but probably not, right? Because now look what happens. Is that you can't do anything.
Horrible trade for me.
You have to back. It's like you can't do anything. That's the downs. This is like the fallout of the classic example of what happens if you go for the CS over you. This is what happens when you prioritize CS over your HP, right? So at all costs, basically don't get hit, because even when you were prioritizing the CS, how many of these did you get, right? Because this shit went down, you didn't get any of them. Right? Well, actually, you got one.
Right, I even messed up the wave like with my ability.
3 out of 5. Okay, not bad. But if you had dodged the hook, for example, you would have gotten 4 out of 5 because they can't stop you after that, right?
Yeah.
So things to take note of, right? Because this kind of concept is not just for laning as well. Like what happens in the mid game when people are pushing mid, right? And then you go for a CS when they're walking up on you, and then you get hit by a Verisol, right? It's the same thing, right? So your CS is very important, right? But don't sacrifice your lane presence for like 1 or 2 CS, right? It better be, you could take some hits because you're backing no matter what. Then sure, exceptions may arise, but usually speaking, the rule is your HP matters more than CS. So that's like that was the kind of big mistake of this lane. Like if we want to keep watching, you're just gonna get pushed in 24/7 because there's nothing you can do. It's all like the same. It's all like the same. Now it's like you can't really do anything. So if you can't do anything, don't get hit more, if that makes any sense. Why do I say that?
Because you're just putting yourself at a further disadvantage, basically, for no reason.
Right. And then it's like that's how dives happen, right? If you ever see like Caitlyn versus Twitch, Caitlyn pokes Twitch like for an Eon, and then the jungler comes and dives, and then Twitch dies, right? So that's basically or they can do something like that, right? And it's just like so this is all like just like prioritizing. This is all figuring out where you need to prioritize, which is not getting hit, right? Not getting hit for free.
It's kind of like accepting that I like lost.
Say again?
Sort of. Is it kind of like accepting that I lost lane instead of like trying to force a win? Because like at that point when I'm so behind, like the lane's basically lost, right? Or would you say no?
I would say you guys are at a severe disadvantage, but like shit always happens in solo queue, right? So there's always like a way to come back, if that makes any sense. But yeah, you definitely don't fight after that, right? You like in this stage, whenever you're like losing, quote unquote, whenever you're in a losing situation, you should not try to take even fights, right? If you ever fight, you have a massive advantage. For example, you see Blitzcrank somewhere else, and Lee Sin's not here, is gonna be a 2v1, and then you say, can I 2v1, right? And if the answer is yes, then you hit him, right? So massive advantage. You have one more person than him, and even though he has a BF over you, should be fine. So here, this is kind of interesting. So here you're like afraid that he's just gonna hook, and then everyone's gonna be sad, right?
Right. Like if we walk up, I don't think we can even take a V2.
Okay, so say you walk up and Blitz walks up. What's your response?
Auto him. Well, I would auto him because if I run away, then he's just...
Right. You can't auto him, right? So this shit's gonna happen. He's probably dead. Oh, maybe not.
Normally I would auto, so he can't walk up for free. But in this situation, I feel like they're just too strong.
Yeah. Whenever you're like in this situation where you have to wait for whatever reason, right? This is very common with Kalista Thresh, right? Because you walk up to this shit and it's Kalista Thresh, you're dead, right? So this is kind of a similar situation where they have a lot of what's it called? Catch, run you down potential. In this case, you don't push. You try and make it like what's it called? Just be patient and let it come into your tower. And then if they dive you, so be it, because your big mistake was beforehand, right? What we try and do is prevent the big mistakes that happened earlier, and we'll never like be in this situation, hopefully. Yeah. So if you're ever waiting, like wait super long, like be super patient. Like sometimes you don't even go for this, because what What if he's like if Blitz was here, then you still can't go for that. I don't know. It's just like be patient more than anything.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's just gonna what's it called? Not being patient is gonna like kind of screw you guys over. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here you're like, oh, maybe I can hit him because Blitz is not here, right? This is good. This is good. Assuming you have shield. I think. Is this like a post change to Janna? If you know what I
After
mean?
level 9, her shields are the same cooldown, but before level 9, they're really long cooldown.
Interesting. And this guy's like maxing Q or some shit. Very interesting.
Yeah, I felt like this is kind of a weird.
So you see Lee Sin mid. So this is gonna be 2v2 bot.
Okay. Should I just walk up and hit him here?
Yeah. Okay. So tell me what's the problem with this?
Well, I guess Blitz and Lee, we just saw them like they could just walk down. Oh, and I get Varus ulted in there.
Wait, you saw Blitz mid, right? And then you saw Lee.
Blitz and Lee mid, yeah.
And then you walk up, and you try and hit him.
Uh-huh.
And then at what point do you stop chasing?
I guess
like
now,
when will this
because
ever when will this ever be good, right? That's the question I'm trying to pose here. It's like
probably never.
in your okay, so in your thinking, it's very obvious, right? Okay, Blitz and Lee Sin are not here. They're one lane's distance away, but we have like 5 seconds to do something, right? So you try and you force like a 2v1. But the issue here is that even though you like want this, he knows you want this, right? So he just walks away and then he hits you. Because he has 6 minions as well, right? Because all he has to do is just walk away, and then it's like even if you get like an auto attack or two, it's like risking you're risking death here, right? If he ulted you there, that would be a good ult. Why do I say that? Even if you don't die, like here, when you're tanking minions, when these minions die, he ults you here. What happens?
Because it gets a huge health advantage, I guess.
Sure, it's gonna take away all your health, if not kill you, because Blitz and Lee are coming. And then if you have no HP, what can they do?
Just take control of the lane or shove it in.
They can just do dragon. They just steal blue. They can do.
Okay.
There's like a more lasting impact on the map, right? Because at that point, Varus can even 1v2. Since you're not even 6, and even if you hit 6, he just walks away. Blitz is not in lane, right? So Blitz sits mid. Okay, mid loses, and then jungle loses because they invade, right? So losing kind of lane or making mistakes in the lane has like impacts on other areas. Like this is still the same thing, right? You definitely don't want to fight him because what's it called?
I think
now Blitz is here, right? So basically the kind of this is now kind of we're in the area of, you know, when do you want to fight, basically, because you need to figure out when you want to fight, because since you have no HP, they're gonna die, right? And there's no way out. 100%.
Yeah,
no way out.
It's 4 people. I'm just dead.
Yeah, there's just nothing you can do, right? Yeah. So basically, it's coming down to the concepts of like you need to prioritize your HP over CS in lane, right? That's the first thing we saw, and then the second thing is when do you want to fight? And it's good that you recognize that since it's 2v1, it seems like a good idea. But whenever you go for something like that, something that's like not guaranteed, you have no way to stop him from right clicking his tower, right? It has to be some kind of bait, and you have to know when you're gonna stop, right? So if you wanted to do this like very tiny trade, you're trying to min max, you're trying to get like 1 auto attack with Janna shield. You say, I'm gonna hit him if he goes to these minions, and then that's it. That's the best you're gonna get. You have to know what you want. Basically, you have to know what you want before you do this, right? If I had asked you, if I had paused in the middle of this game, and I said, okay, how exactly are you going to do this 1v2? Could you answer me? You have to like stop and think about it, right?
I mean, yeah.
Exactly. You need to think about it before you do it, right? You always need to think about it before you do it. That's the big thing in League, right? Think about like why you want to do it, okay, because it's 1v2, and how are you going to do it? And then the how for me, I was like, I have no idea, right? You're gonna hit him when he goes to the last hit, and that's about it. And then this is the same thing. What are you trying to do here? He can 1v2 because he has minions. So knowing when you want to fight is very important, right? You need to come up with a reason why. So when we were talking about laning, the reason why you wanted to trade is why, because you have Janna shield. and if Blitz misses hook, then they can't win, right? That's why. That's the why. And the how is you try and bait out Blitz hook first. Okay, so you have the why, you have the how, and then now you go do it, right? That's the kind of thinking I think you should try and develop. Because then you're just like, I don't know, this is kind of super sad, but what can you do now, right? And then Vi dies, but that's like whatever, right? What can she do? Not much. So after the tower is gone, what's the plan now?
Well, I've been like trying to develop the plan thing. Like, what do I want? How do I get it? How can they stop me? You know. But sometimes I feel like in my head, I like just come up with like a really cautious plan, or I don't think about it enough. Like here, I remember my plan specifically. I'm just like, I just want this farm, and then I want to push it out, like past their tower. So I don't know. My plan is like just like farm this and like don't die, I guess.
Right. It'd be something. You have very few options right now, right? So it'd be something like maybe you can freeze this, right? That could be a thing. And then you hope that your team can get away from the inevitable 5-man that's coming, right? Or you can like push this as hard as you can, and then like run away from Blitz, which is gonna come. Blitz and Lee are gonna come when they see you do that, right? So those are what I see as your like two options really. And then like maybe you can go mid to look for an arrow. But I don't think Mei can kill anyone. She's like 0-2, right? So this is kind of this game is kind of tragic. Now at this point, you just like pray that they make a massive mistake, right? Because all the mistakes were laning phase mistakes, right? All the stuff that like kind of compounded out of control. So I think maybe it's because they're more coordinated or something, and it's flex queue, but seems like they're like really snowballing this. Huh?
This is solo queue.
Oh, this is solo queue?
This is one game.
Okay. But yeah, now you guys are like sharing a lane. Maybe Ari can go bot. I don't know. But basically, this is like damage control at this point, right? You basically pray that you can like wave clear, and then arrow them if they're like out of position, I guess, right?
Right. And then here I try to go for the wave.
Yeah, you can't rotate this way because his ear's here, right? So even if Blitz wasn't here, it's the same thing, right? Almost the same thing. Because a 0 would just like kill you himself, right? He'll get your flash at least with his ultimate.
Right.
So this is kind of like be scared. I don't know. This is honestly, this is something we worry less about versus what happened earlier, right? Because what happened earlier is like the start of all this. So yeah, it's kind of whew, this is just not much you can do at this point, right? You just need to maybe go for a miracle arrow. This could be good, maybe not. So tell me, how do you 1v1 Varus?
I don't.
No, but if you had to, right? If you literally had to, if your life depended on 1v1ing a Varus, what conditions do you like? What are your win conditions and what are his?
I need to flash his ultimate and make sure mine hits.
And then what? Is that it? Because even if that happens, right? If you do this right now, you lose, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I probably just have to dodge his Q too.
Okay. Yes, being able to dodge more stuff is very important, right? Because that's like his damage, right? His stacks and then his abilities. But like the big thing for Ashe is like you need your Q stacks first. Unless you're so far ahead, you don't need them. But you need your Q stacks before you arrow. Because then after you arrow, you press Q and then you have all your damage there. But if you don't have your Q stacks, he's gonna kill you faster than you kill him, right? Even if you land the arrow and he doesn't land his ult, right? So if you go for something like this,
I want Vi to kill him here though.
Yeah.
I get one.
But
and then Shen's here. So
even if you had even if Shen wasn't here, he would like kind of kill you. He had flash, right? Yeah, he would kill you first before Vi even came. So that's this is the kind of like you knew you wanted to fight because Vi was coming, and then how do you do it? If you wanted to just have man advantage, you have to wait on your arrow, I guess, right? It's just like really hard at this stage of the game because it's like everyone's so far behind. So, and they have a shed. Globals are always really annoying to deal with.
A little unfortunate.
But yeah, I would say like we would need to go back and rewatch like the beginning stages of the game, right? Do you have another replay by any chance, or?
Yeah, I actually just realized that this is Flex, and I uploaded the wrong one because I don't know, I just accidentally did. But
that's awkward. That's fine.
Yeah.
How fast is your upload speed? By the way.
Okay. Probably take me like 15 minutes to get another one.
Okay, we can start uploading that, and we can like discuss on the thing. We can still go over this for like 15 minutes if that makes any sense, right?
Okay, so this is the 1-6 game, right? Where I went 1-6.
Yes.
So. Yeah, so I just uploaded the wrong one because I remember I wanted to upload one that was more even.
Yeah, because I assume this is not like the norm.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I have been losing lane a lot as Ashe compared to MF. I would like win every lane, but now like I win no lanes. Probably just because it's harder to execute Ashe game. Okay, so it's preparing to upload now.
Okay, nice. So yeah, let's talk about this. This game's early game, I guess. So no flash. You can't do anything unless you see Lee Sin, right? Okay, so since you have no flash, and you know Blitz has no flash.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Get water.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Hello?
Me too. Okay, hold on. I want to get water.
Oh, okay, it's fine.
So, can you see my screen? Right?
Yeah.
When you so now that everyone's flash is blown, or when I say everyone, I say Blitz and you. If you were Blitz and Varus and Lee Sin, right, and the Ashe was pushed up to your tower, how do you guarantee this Ashe is gonna die? Assuming there's no Vi, right? It's gonna be 3v2. How do you make sure she dies?
I mean, if she doesn't have flash, you just cut her off, like gank her and Blitzcrank ease, and then
wait,
she's
Blitzcrank
dead.
can he though? Because he has to walk up to her. He has no flash, right?
How do you ensure that?
So let's say
I guess you could go around.
Let's see if I can get like Rift Kick going.
If you go around.
Let me open this up. It's loading, and then we go here. Oh, it doesn't let me drag, huh? The jungler here, so this is gonna be Lee Sin, right? Be Varus. This is like Blitzcrank. Just like whatever this is. This is the normal. And you have like Ashe and Janna. So, in this case, are you dead?
Not yet. No.
Well, let's say you guys are pushing up here.
Am I? I'm probably dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so whenever you don't have flash, probably gonna die, right? So when I was saying we should be cautious because you have no flash, yeah, you pretty much can't live, right? Because in order to guarantee the hook, we need to land a slow, and there are multiple slows, right? There's Varus flash E, right? That's guaranteed because Varus flash E range is super big. So if you try and stay out of that, you aren't gonna get any CS. And then Lee Sin can ward hop flash E, right? So that's also another slow. And then the same result, right? So even Jenna has NATO. She would have to like run up, NATO the Blitzcrank, and then flash out of his hook. And then that would actually make the gank not work. But you can't really trust your Jenna to do that, right? So we know that you don't want to push until you have flash up, or unless you see Lee Sin, right? And you do want to push for level 2 if you can get it, right? So you see Lee Sin screwing around, so he's gonna take a long time to be able to do anything. So your mindset right now should be, I want to push for level 2, right?
Right.
And it's like really weird because you're like, Janna's not here and the Blitzcrank's not here. Like no one's here, no one's doing anything right, but you want to push, right? That's the general mindset. So when you see when something changes, like when you see Varus, does that plan change?
When I see Varus there.
Yeah.
Because I can't just push and let them cut me off.
Well, if Blitz is super far away and your Janna's coming too, then doesn't that make sense that would be fine? And then it's like, if you want to fight them, how do you win against Varus as Ashe? Like this is not like, tell me, how would you win level 1 against Varus? What do you need to land, and what does he need to land?
I mean, my W, and he needs to land his E.
Right. So, do you have your W?
Right. No. So.
Right. And then does he have his?
I guess I
ability
should.
Or whatever. And then you don't know. I don't know. But I get, like, you have to assume he does if you don't know. So this is like, if you walk up to fight him, this is like you go even at best or you lose at worst, right? So this is like, these are examples of like taking fights that are not good, if that makes any sense, right? Even or losing is not good. You want even or winning, like every time, right? If he had no ability because you saw him use it and you had your volley, you'd be like, oh yeah, let's fight. Yeah, try and come into lane. I'm gonna hit you. But in this case, it's just like not possible, right? And then he has the bush advantage too. So whenever you want to fight, you need a clear reason. This is like a common thing that happens to players in League when they say, their mindset is see champion, hit champion, right? Have you ever heard of that?
Never heard that, but I understand what you mean.
But that is a thing, right? See champion, hit champion, right? Whenever you want it, whenever you fight, you need a reason, right? Anytime a fight happens, there has to be a good reason, right? I'm like surprised you even like got away with an even trade, but he probably should have started E first. Oh, he was probably trying to snipe blue, is what was going on. Yeah, strange game. But here, you missed like a lot of auto attacks, right? On being able to push. You want your support to get level 2, right? You want to basically push him in because Lee Sin isn't here. This is basically like, if your mindset is to push like mad, don't change it unless something significant happens, right? If he comes into lane and he has 50 HP, that changes because you're gonna go kill him, right? Or say you have some kind of advantage, that changes because you're gonna go fight him. But like this mindset doesn't change, right? It shouldn't change, that is. Because if you push here and he comes to stop you, and you say you're afraid of Blitz coming as well, Blitz is level 1, right? So off the bat, you know you're not gonna die. And then your Jan is coming, so if they chase you, they're chasing the minions. So if they're chasing your minions, you know you win. So that's how you know it's safe to push, right? There's literally nothing they can do.
I might be freaked out because I see Lee, but I guess he's going mid for some reason.
If the level 1 Lee comes to try and do something, then your team has already won, right? Because you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Right? You just press Q to dodge his Q, and it's just like, oh, I guess you just wasted your time. Good stuff. But yeah, that's basically like in the first 30 seconds. That's like what's going on here, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
if you come up with a plan, and you want to change it, you have to have like a something significant must have happened to change it, right? And something significant could be like, oh yeah, Varus is walking in the lane. Okay, now does the plan change? And then answer is no, right? Or the answer is yes, and you go fight him, whatever that is. And this is just like, yes, now that you can't get the push on them, they're gonna push you in, and that's fine, right? Sometimes based on the matchup or some shit went down, like in this game, this is gonna happen. That's fine. Now the mindset is I should prioritize, not getting hit, right? You need to prioritize your HP, and then after that, you say I want my CS, right?
Right.
And of course, if you can get a good trade in, you go for it. But it's kind of hard right? Like here, you can hit him, right? What? Hold on. When he does something like this, why do I say you can hit him?
Because he's missing an ability.
Well, the biggest thing is that Blitz can't help, right? Didn't you say you want to trade with Janus Shield earlier? Right?
Yeah.
And that's dependent on Blitz's not being able to hit his hook. This is the same thing, right? How can Blitz hit you with a hook if you're standing right here? He walks up, okay, you're like you walk away, you walk sideways, you put the minions between you and Blitz. Nothing you can do, right? So whenever you try, these are all things you can try and like figure out in your head during the load screen, right? Because you can see the champions and you can try and like figure out the matchup before you even like play out the landing phase, right? And then after some shit went down, like you have no flash, then that changes, right? Your plan changes, right? Because in the champion select, I'd be thinking, okay, we're gonna push him in. We're going to get level 2 if we can, which we should be able to. And then if we're gonna push as hard as we can, I'm gonna stay out of Blitz flash E range, and then we're good to go. Jungle comes to gank us, right? Blitz is gonna walk up. He's gonna flash Q because we're out of flash E range, and then I'm gonna flash. Boom, that's a good trade, right? Because Jungle wasted his time.
Yeah.
That's the mindset, right? And then since you lost flash, that changes. You say, okay, push for level 2, and then after that we play super safe because Jungle could come and force on us, and then if we have flash, we can do something. But yeah. Oh, here's another thing. If something goes wrong, like absolutely wrong, like this, right? You did not expect this, right? You just run, right? Unless you can turn, for whatever reason, you run. Because if you try and fight, you're just taking more hits that are like disadvantageous, right? Because here you took like an extra 2 autos, right? And an extra 2 autos doesn't like sound like much, but in reality, like every auto counts in lane, especially, right? And especially against something like Varus, where he like gets stacks with his autos or something, right? If you ever play against Kalista, you're like every auto definitely matters. 'Cause that shit hurts, right? That red stack is like pretty annoying. So yeah. Yeah, at this point it's like you probably just have to back. If you're ever like it's just like if you have so little HP and you say what's the worst that could happen, and then it's like, oh, they just like hit me and I die, you should probably just back, right? Because it's just like he's just gonna walk up to you and it's like there's literally nothing you guys can do. If he stands between you and the minions, you guys can't do anything, right? So at that point you think to yourself, maybe I should back. Maybe I should consider backing, is what I should say, right?
Right.
That was a nice volley though. Just like hit 2 minions and them. Yeah. Or like if you say I'm going to lifesteal off Doran's blade because they can't stop me, then that could be a thing too, right?
Right.
Yeah. Be very careful because at this point, Varus doesn't even need to land an auto attack in his E to make his E very good, right? Because you're at so low HP, all he has to do is just throw abilities at you, and as long as they land, right, as long as they connect, it's like good value because you have no HP, right? So, usually speaking, if no one's 4 HP and he hits you with his E but no auto attacks, it's not very good, right? But if everyone has 50 HP and he hits you with an E with no auto attacks, it turns into very good, right? So the lower HP people are, the less value you can get and make it still valuable, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, he's definitely throwing shit at you. That was a good dodge by you, but oh yeah, that's gonna hurt, right? That's awkward. Wait, he had he had flash.
I knew his flash.
Oh, okay.
Because he has the mastery thing, and I knew that, but I just
you're not running it. The flash mastery.
No, I go
fearless. Okay.
Yeah, fearless is like meta or whatever. And speaking of that, like, what do you think about what to build on Ashe? Like, I know you said in a different video that it doesn't really matter.
I personally.
So does that mean I can just like build the same thing?
No, I personally do like Fervor with like Runon's Rush or yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I do. Actually, if I play Ashe, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
So yeah, you can do it with Warlords, right? But I don't know, it doesn't really seem to work for me. So I mean, if it works for you, then go for it, right?
No, it hasn't really been working.
Yeah, I personally do Fervor, right? And your lane is probably not going to be as strong, right? But the attack speed and the Fervor stacks are pretty good in terms of like surprising people with the amount of damage you can do. That's kind of my take on it. But because if you do Warlords, you're kind of forced to go the like IE or Essence Reaver, because if you go Blade of the Ruined King, you have no damage, right? Compared to like the stuff that's running around in the meta nowadays, you got like Xayah, you got like Twitch, you got all this other shit. If you go Blade of the Ruined King and you take Warlords, it's like you better have really good arrows or something, and even then, it's like I can't really win fights.
Okay.
Yeah, basically
that's how it feels. It feels like I'm not doing damage.
Yeah, but basically, story of the game from this game is laning, right? Prioritize HP over CS at all times, right? And the way you can like figure out what they're gonna do is, you've played Blitz before, right?
Yeah. He's
So
my go-to.
if you see, let's go back to this. If you see this and you're playing Blitzcrank, what are you gonna do, right? It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's fine. I'm playing Blitz, and then I'm like, okay, he's watching you walk up to last hit. So the next time you go for a minion, he's gonna go for a hook, right? 100%, right?
Yeah.
Or he's gonna at least pretend, right? So
yeah.
None of this should surprise you, right? So
right. Really
it's kind of, if you're not sure about like what they can do, put yourself in their shoes, right? Things like Varus R Flash shouldn't really be surprising, right? It's very little that you and I have not seen yet, right? In terms of what champions can do, because we play so much and we've watched so much that we've pretty much seen it all, right? All these like flash traits, like Azir streamer shuffle. First time someone sees it, they'll be like, "Oh shit, what the hell?" And that'll be like acceptable. And then after that, it'll be like, "I literally just saw that like last game, right?" Stuff like that. So be very just like this stuff like this is all like, if I was playing Varus, I'll throw my E at you, right? Because you're in E range, and that's it. So pretend you're them. If you ever struggle with not getting hit in lane, pretend you're the other champion, right?
Yeah. Okay.
That was super awkward how you like look somewhere else at the exact time too.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what happened mid? And then he just like flash hooks you. That's
I used to ban Blitzcrank because if I messed up, I would like tilt, and this would always happen.
Yeah, that champion is.
I think it's better to just play against him, I guess.
My like kind of response to that is if they pick Blitzcrank first, I'll just pick Tristana, right? Because you can press W if they hook you. But if not, then it's like, I don't know. You play like you're playing against a Blitzcrank, right? He can't really trade, but he can like hook your ass. So yeah, super awkward.
Right.
One thing you can do, some problems with it, so we talked about the patience thing, right? Another thing is the volley, right? Every time you use an ability, you need to have a reason. Because if you had volley here, then Blitz can't walk up, right? Without getting slowed. So he can't like hook Janna, right? So saving abilities is very important, right? Volley, people think volley is just some kind of like spam waste ability on Ashe. It's very important to auto cancel with volley when you're trading, right? Or saving it for the last hit, because when they're running away, because it has longer range than your auto, right? Or using it when they're trying to chase you, because you can slow them even though they're not in your auto range. Volley is very important, right? Same thing with your Q.
Just like
if you ever see like
getting max.
Yeah, exactly. Getting max value is very important with Ashe, because what's your other ability? You have a hawk shot, which does no damage, and you have your Q, which is conditional on your auto attacks, right? So what do you have control over? This one ability, this one single ability, right? So if you ever watch like replays of Bang or Daft or anyone who plays Ashe Ruler, right? They never use their Q on minions. So every time you see other diamond players or master players or any rank, and they use Q on minions, probably incorrect, right? Because then they don't have it for the fight, and they have to stack 4 times again. And then when they use volley, is volley auto cancel, or they're hitting like 4 or 5 minions or something along those effects, right? Very specific purpose, right? Everything's for a reason, right? Like that volley right there, that was really good, right? And why do I say that?
Because it gets 2 minions and
it's like auto cancel.
It gets a minion and trades them.
Yeah, it's auto cancel basically. You're doing max damage. You're doing maximum potential damage. If you had like volley while what's it called? Like in the middle of your auto attack or something strange like that, then it's like not good, right? Because it's like you're missing damage. But that was really good, right? I think here these are all I think could be good hits, but then he can just like EU or something. I don't know. Blitz is not here. Maybe you can like look for something. All right, this is when you can like walk up and Q him, but then he hits level 6, so it's like, oh, okay. And then this volley. What do we say about this volley?
It's pretty bad.
Right. That's
like it's kind of pointless.
Yeah, exactly.
Just auto.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Right, it's not good. And then like here, when you see like Blitzcrank, maybe you can like look for a play. It's kind of, yeah. So the fallout of like kind of losing lane is that Blitz is fucking with mid, Blitz is messing with the jungle, etc., right? So laning is super important. And then this volley makes it so that you definitely can't fight, right? So be very conscious about like your what you want to do, right? Okay, you want to take the 1v2. Can you like actually do it? And then like this is the execution, right? Using your volley correctly is the execution of it, right? So if you're saying I want to harass Varus on the minions, the idea is when he goes to last hit my range minion, I'm gonna hit him. And then can they stop me? Say Blitz is out of lane, so they can't stop you, which is like in this case scenario. And the third thing is executing the plan, right? So when he actually goes to do it, do you do it correctly? Do you walk up and right click him correctly, right? Because sometimes we misclick and hit minions. Sometimes we miss abilities, right? Stuff like that. Like another example could be in this team fight, if I flash his Malphite ult, then we're going to win the fight. For whatever reason, you come up with that plan. So A, I'm going to flash the Malphite ult. B, can he stop my flash? No, he can't stop your flash. And then C, can I actually have like can I actually prepare my flash so that when he goes for it, I flash, right? What if he does something like he's gonna flash on top of me, and then it's very hard for me to flash out of his ult, right? Or say he flashes on top of me and uses E, and I think that's his ultimate, and it's not, and then I flash and he ults me, right? So there's like depth to this, but the concepts are all there, right? So if you ever mess up the execution, you stop whatever you're doing, right? Whenever something goes wrong in any of the phases, the whole thing collapses, right? So say Lee Sin shows up and instead of Blitz, and you're like, oh, this is not a 1v2, you cancel the plan, right? Something unexpected and bad happens, you cancel the plan, right? That's what you should do.
Right. So I should always have like the plan running and like updating.
Right. Exactly. Like right now, you'd be like, I'd be thinking, oh, Blitz and Lee are missing for a long time, so they're coming for our blue or ganking or doing dragon or something, right? But you have no idea. Right. So what's the worst is they're diving me. So you should play like they're diving you. If you play like they're diving you, you don't take damage, right? Because in dives, the diver wants to trade, right? Does that make sense? The diver wants to trade as much damage as possible. It's like
get you low enough to
it's
kill
basically
under tower.
Yeah. It's like a gank, right? If they have Lee Sin coming, then they try and distract you by trading poorly, and you're like, oh, this is a good trade. Lee Sin comes out, and you're like, ah, fuck, right? That's happened to that's pretty much happened to every single laner in existence, right? Get baited by trades. So this is kind of similar thing. Don't take damage when you think that they can be diving you, and then it's kind of the issue, right? If you had 4 HP, this is maybe winnable, right? If Lee Sin doesn't get, probably not winnable with the Shen, but but maybe you could have had options like turning on Varus or something. I don't know. Or you could, if you had 4 HP, you could tank the minion wave, so they have to tank tower immediately, and you arrow whoever's tanking tower, right? That could be an option. That's a good idea. Not having what's it called? Don't limit your options by taking the bad choices earlier, if that makes any sense, right? We're always trying to make ourselves the best possible option, right? Because this gank happened so fast, since you had no HP, Cho'Gath couldn't TP. But if you guys were full HP, then maybe Cho'Gath could have found like a way to TP or something. I don't know. It's always something, though, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? That was like that in a nutshell, right? Figure out like kind of what you want, and then like how you do it, and then you execute it correctly. Can I execute this, right? I think the issue here is like figuring out what you want and sticking to it, right? Or figuring out what you want and then like making sure it's like it can't go super poorly. Like the whole pushing level 1, stick to it unless something changed. Varus showing up didn't change anything because we talked about that, right? And then the what's it called? You wanted to like 1v2 him, but then like the execution wasn't there because you used volley on something else. So then it was like It wasn't basically if we paused before you use the volley and then you told me I'm going to trade with him, I don't think you would use the volley on the minions, right? Because that wouldn't make sense, right? So
it's like being conscious of, and it's kind of like just not autopiloting, because
yeah. Basically,
you know,
when people say
if League is like a turn-based game, I do a lot better, right? Like, but it's not.
Exactly.
Or,
Agreed. It's Last Shadow always says something like League is like people say League isn't turn based, but I disagree, right? Because every action has a cost, right? So you can kind of pretend that League is turn based with every action having different like costs and stuff, right? So it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
most people like can't play it turn based though. Like, I feel like that's my problem. Like, I look at like League and I just see like there's just so much going on that I'll like try to make a plan, and so I just like play based on how I feel, and then that's not efficient because like, I don't know, I'll like try to make a plan, but then I'll just like, I won't like figure it out immediately, so I'll just like do something random.
Right. It takes time. Yeah, it takes time to like. Sometimes by the time you make the plan, shit's already gone down and it's too late, right?
Right.
So League very much rewards he who can come up with like as many and as accurate plans as possible, right? It's just like chess, right? The master who can see all the different like what's it called, responses to an opening, versus like the new player is just like, oh, I put my pawn forward or whatever, right? Put my pawn 2 spaces forward. He's just like playing whatever. Versus like the grandmaster is like, oh, this. If you do this, this is what's gonna happen. Like later in like 20 moves later, right? It's like if in order to work on this kind of thing, it's just like you got to do it more. That's it, pretty much.
Right. So if I'm like trying to do it and I like I have no idea, and I'm just like pulling from like, I'm trying to make something out of nothing and I have no idea what to do, should I just like keep trying to do it? Like, is that a good sign, or is that like...
So if you have no idea what to do, right? Like say for example, we're in this kind of position and you have no idea what to do, right?
Right.
This is like
I'm pretty sure this is a situation. I don't know. I'm not thinking about what I'm here. I'm just like, didn't I just like want to go bottom or something?
It's like one thing you can always do.
The other videos uploaded, by the way.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah. Hit me up with that too. We can switch to that. But if you're ever in like a situation where you don't know what to do, always go back to the general principles, the general basics of the game, right? So say, did you watch Gigabyte Marines versus Fnatic?
No.
Oh, well, it was like very much an interesting game where I was like, I had no idea what was going on. If I was
I heard it was crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. But basically, you go back to the basics, right? You're like, oh, I don't know what to do, but the basics are ADC wants to catch every wave as possible, and then you want to have vision control of your next objective. So you like stick to those basics, right? You stick to those principles, right? Same thing with what's it called? Longzhu versus Gigabyte Marines. It was like oh, they're gonna lane swap on us. Longzhu's probably never played against a lane swap in like years, right? So it's like, oh, what do we do against this? We like match and then we dive 4-man on the other side of the map, right? It's like,
okay.
What's it
so
called?
If I ever don't know
Go
what
back
to do,
the
I
basics.
just like...
Right, yeah. If I was you, I was like, what do I do?
Like...
Try and catch as much farm as possible. How do you do that? Freeze under tower, right? Something like that. Keep up vision inside your jungle, and then if they go for a dive, we have a counter dive, right? That's my thinking, right? This is the basic. Don't know what to do. What's my job? I'm trying to catch up XP and farm as much as possible and land my arrow, right? So in that case, you just go mid. I mean, you go bot, right? And then if you're desperate, you're like,
all right, yeah.
If I go bot, I just died a Rengar. Maybe you go mid and you look for an arrow, because at that point it's kind of hard to do anything. But anyways, let's watch the second one.
Okay, I actually go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah,
back.
Go for it. Jesus, TF jungle. Oh.
Okay, I'm back.
So, when you see this, we're gonna go to the same thing, right? When you
Mhm.
see Lulu Ashe versus Cog Jenna, how do you win this lane, right? First, how do you win trades?
Well, like Kaguma has his W and Jaina has her E, and if both are up, it's really bad. And if one is up, I might be able to trade with Lulu's shield. But I'm
Right.
not
So
really sure.
the core
Basically, if both are
premise.
down, I can safely trade.
Yeah, exactly. When you see Kaguma W go down, you're like, oh, this is my time, right? And then how do you bait it out?
Yeah. I kind of like pretend I'm gonna hit him and then walk away.
Okay, that can be good. Anything? There's like something else you can do, like other things like what's it called? Walk up to in range and maybe he'll hit you, or go for a last hit thinking that he's gonna hit you and then back off immediately. Stuff like that, right? But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
you
it's
got the
basically-
general idea. And then how about these junglers? Are they strong early? Do they have good pressure early? Anything like that?
My jungler, I guess he has good pressure after level 6, but he's kind of he's like a worse. I don't know. He has no mobility, but he has a stun, I guess.
Seems pretty strong. Yeah, he's got a stun, right? The gold card level 2 seems like it'd do a lot of damage. And then Gragas
after level 6, you have to be
right?
really careful.
Right. He can just like teleport into
Yeah, that's true.
And Greg is also strong early, right? He can body slam flash, all that stuff. Oh, you guys didn't have to leash. Nice. So in this lane,
Oh wait,
you want to auto push.
I'm not
right?
even. Hold on a second. Where is? Find like our Discord call real quick. Okay, there you go. I'm good.
Okay, nice. Can you
I
see
was just
everything?
looking at the blank YouTube screen. Yeah. I was all right.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. So we didn't lose.
Yeah, this is good volley, right? Why do I say that?
Because it hits a lot of the minions and gets the early push going.
Right. You wanted the plan is you want to push him in all day, bait out ganks, and then therefore you want to push for level 2. Hitting 5 minions with volley when they're not in lane is very good, right? Because now they can't really do anything. And then now you can like pressure them on minions or something like that, right? So, what about this volley?
Probably not good, just from what I'm seeing already.
Right. Because
yeah, not great.
there's like no way
Doesn't
that
really
should hit
last
Janna. It didn't auto cancel. You were already pushing,
shield.
right? Stuff like
Yeah.
that. We can go on and on. But basically, every time you volley, you want a very specific purpose, right? Because now I feel like
can I
standing
like
here.
ask about something?
Yeah, go for it. You can always ask
So-
about something.
Like kind of like how I feel like when I said earlier, I like play off emotion. I feel like the reason I did that was because I felt like I was in a strong position, but like it doesn't really make sense, right? And I just
Right,
missed
it
6
doesn't
minutes,
make,
but
it doesn't make any sense at all. It's like I know where you're coming
right.
from.
So like
and you're like, oh, sorry, continue.
I know it's wrong, but like I just fall into that like idea a lot for some reason.
That's like a it's like if you can't reason it out, then it's not a good idea. Pretty much, right? Like you need to be able to reason it out. Like emotions don't really factor into League,
Yeah, exactly.
except for making you maybe play better, maybe play worse, but it's not consistent, right? Are you gonna if you like play unless by playing emotionally every game it makes you better somehow? If it's not consistent, right? If it's not as consistent as like being able to logically reason out every time how this works, then it's not something you should rely on, so to speak, for your gameplay, right? Because it's just like it's like oh, you guys are pushing in. It's like, oh, if I throw volley, it'll pressure on them. But in reality, what's happening is that you're wasting a cooldown and you're relieving the pressure that was on them because now they know you have no volley, right? Like since Janna wasted her shield right here, right? Boom. What's gonna happen is that once that goes down, right, all these minions are gonna be here. You stand between the melee and the ranged or whatever, and you throw volley and you auto attack and you leave, right? Because they have no shield, they're gonna lose 100%. But if you have no volley, you can't do that, right? So if basically it's like, sure, you can make an argument for being able to play on like emotion and stuff, but if you can't do this first, then I think that argument holds little weight.
Right. I don't know. Like, I don't actually think it's good to. It's just like when I watch myself, I realize that I'm doing it, if that makes any sense. And then I tried to click the map with Eve, but I just threw it at the wall.
Yeah. So, I don't know, sometimes that happens. Yeah. Let me see.
I feel like it was actually on the map. Hold on, let me watch.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh no, I barely
misclicked. You clicked here and then you went here. No, that happens to my arrows sometimes too. I'm just like, are you kidding me? But
okay. Yeah. So if I notice I'm just doing that, does that mean I just like
don't do that?
Need to be actively thinking more.
Don't use your abilities. Yeah. Hold on to your abilities. Right. That's how you stop doing something like that. Is you hold on to your abilities until you have a very clear reason. Also, is there a better place you could have put this word by any chance?
Well, the thing is, Gragas shows. I should have just not placed it because Gragas shows top side.
Well, you didn't know that, but when you were like placing. When you were placing
yeah, you're right. So, I'd probably try brush then.
Yeah, stick it as deep as you can, right? Always as deep as you can, if it's safe to do so, right? Because what if he's in here and you guys baited out again? Because he's not gonna kill your ass, right? He's gonna get like some damage, and that's okay for wasting a jungler's time. And then here, going back to pushing, right? Basically, this strategy is still the same. You push him in all day, and then see, why is that a good arrow? I mean, why is that a good volley? Right?
Auto cancels and I get a big trade because she's slowed.
Yeah, auto cancels, big trade, and a push, right? So you got 3 things in one, right? Versus the 0 in one, right? And then your Lulu's got to run. And then you guys are hard trading, really hard trading. It's fine to take this, I think, without volley because you have a lot more HP than him. But yeah, that was really good. Look at Janet's HP now, right? So now if she walks, she has to be super scared if she walks up to Lulu, right? So every time you use volley. Honestly, any ability, it doesn't matter if it's volley or not, right? If a lot of like amateur, if a lot of people who are like, why is Caitlyn good? Because they're like, I don't understand why Caitlyn is good, and then you watch them play and they miss every Caitlyn Q. It's like, dude, you're missing your abilities. That's why. Or basically any champion.
Caitlyn has a shot or something, or not her, but I've watched your videos on Caitlyn. It's interesting.
I should probably go back and watch what I thought when because last time I made like a Caitlyn watching video, it was a long time ago. So I'm curious to see how I've changed since then. But here, this is really good.
It's like when you're like you're just talking about how hard it is to play her properly because her traps are like they're not even a skill shot. They're like traps a mind reader thing.
Yeah, it's super hard. But if you can like use traps correctly, it's like the champion's retarded, right?
Yeah.
So this is like really good laning phase, right? Because you're pressuring them super hard. If the jungler is not coming, you're gonna like kill people here. Okay, that was good that you didn't flash that because you're just gonna heal.
Right.
That's very good. That's very good. Because a lot of people would like jump the gun and be super impatient and just flash it, even though it's 0% chance of working. So yeah, that was good that you didn't.
Yeah, just because you're like, I want the kill. I'm definitely the kind of person that does that stuff, and then as soon as I do it, I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah. That's just something we have to show restraint on. Oh, Gragas is here. Very nice. The only thing you can really fault you on for this lane is missing random CS, but that's largely unimportant in the grand scheme of things, right? Unless you literally have.
This was like after a 4-day, like a 4-day break. This game was after a 4-day break, so I missed a lot.
Why are you? Question is, so why are you backing off here, right?
I think it's because of Gragas. Like I'm afraid.
Right, but you have wards though, right? You can like see when he's gonna come. Unless you're afraid he's gonna come through the river.
I guess. I think I thought he was gonna come through lane and like E-flash. But
there's this like pretend you're Gragas. Okay, you're forced to make this gank work, and there's a ward in this tri-bush. How do you do it?
Go through lane, I guess, or go like through Dragon Pit and then wait for E to come down again.
Right. So if you go through Dragon and you get here. And you E-flash on them, and then they flash away. Okay, now what? Like you even hit them. You even hit them, and they're just gonna flash away after. Then what? Right?
I guess you got their flash, but it's not good. Probably.
That's it. You didn't accomplish anything. And then you say you go through your lane, and then you show up. Okay, they walk to the tower. Now what? Right? So if I was this Gragas, I'm like, this is impossible. So that's how you know you can push up, right?
Yeah, literally so that's like the same kind of thing where I'm like, oh, what's
Look at this. This is exactly what I said. It's impossible, right? Okay, if you turn around to fight, you might get hit by shit. But that's like being kind of greedy,
Okay.
but honestly, sometimes okay, right? Because if this was like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But honestly, that's fine. And then coming back for this,
I
maybe okay,
he gets
just baiting
yeah,
him
he's
more.
wasting
But yeah,
time.
look, exactly what we said. He came through the river. He's gonna eat flash on you. Doesn't even have to use flash. You flash away. What happens? That's
Yeah.
nothing. That's it. He wasted his time. So good outcome, right? He wasted his time, right? So that's how you know if gank works or not, right? You pretend you're them, and you say, "If my life depended on this gank, how would I do it?" And then you can't come up with anything.
And
So
then
you're
lane's
dead.
in a pretty good spot for us. Okay, this happens
Right.
to me a lot. Or regardless of this gank, that doesn't work. Like, should I like try to force a freeze here?
I would
Um,
say no, unless you see them back. If you see them channel back and they complete, and you're like, oh shit, if I back right now, the wave is in a good spot,
okay.
and I come to
So
lane, yes. But in this case, you
if
trim
we're
this
both
down.
in lane,
Yeah, if they stay, for example, right,
okay.
then you zone them. What are they gonna do? Then they back, and you do the same thing, right?
Here I
And
want
then
to
if you
freeze
can't see
because I
them,
thought they backed, and then that's
yeah, if
like
you
really
can't see
awkward.
them, then it's like then you push out and then you back, right? If you can't
Okay.
see them, you don't know. You push out and you back. Right. So here, so you try and like do some kind of mini freeze. Wait, what's going on here? But yeah,
I
if
tried
you
to freeze and because it didn't
is this
think
gonna
it was
freeze?
sorted.
I don't think.
I don't
Uh,
think so.
Oh yeah, I don't think it froze, but honestly, that's fine too. Honestly, what you did was fine, I think. As long as you didn't
Okay.
but that's like the line of thinking, right? As long as you can come up with a line of thinking, and then you can reason it out, and then afterwards you see if it works or not, right? This is zero champion interaction. This is right, so you'll know this
Yeah.
works every time or it doesn't, or works none of the time. So
Yeah,
if
that's
you
what I'm
see
good
them
at.
channel back and you can freeze like that, then you're back immediately, right? That can be a thing. Or if you don't know, maybe you say, okay, I'm gonna push. I'm gonna wait so they back, and then I'll push, and then I'll back, right?
Yeah.
Assuming that they backed while watching me freeze, right? Something like that. And then like if you're stuck, if you're in like the Kog'Maw's position, you pretend to back so that they push into you, right? And then if nothing happens, then you're like, oh, I guess I just back, right? So here this is gonna be the same thing. Once you clear this wave, you're gonna push them in, right? Actually, since you're on flash, maybe you don't push them in, but you slow push them in, so you have massive minions going, right? So your only last hit, you contest on every minion, something like that, right? So yeah, your
Okay.
Lulu's trying to do that. You're like, get away from these minions, right? Every time he walks up, maybe look to volley. Oh, that was a nice snipe by him. He's using abilities to try and get this. Is kind of funny. But yeah, you're just generating a huge wave and waiting for your flash timer, right? And that way, if they
I
go
think
for a
that's
gank, can't die. Okay, hold up. Remember, same thing. We talked about this, but now you know, right? Every time you use a volley, specific purpose.
Yeah.
If you like really wanted that CS, yeah, go for it. Most people wouldn't fault you for it, and I think it's fine. But the way the last few volleys have been going, I would say don't use it to get CS like that. For now, you need to work on your volley usage, right? And it was awkward because like this shit happens, but oh,
But-
this is mega.
Oh, I
awkward.
had super pings back there. Yeah.
Oh, you're like lagging or something.
Like look at my ping. It was like 400.
You're like clicking and nothing works. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
That happens
unfortunate.
really.
Whatever. Don't worry about shit like that. Like happens.
Did I have used arrow? Because
Well, I mean,
think
you're
it was bad
lagging,
use
right?
arrow,
So
'cause
it's
she
like
was-
kind of hard, and it's like your Lulu kind of screwed up, so it's not really your fault. But if you just like, if you had volley, you know, different story, because volley slows people,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
it's kind of hard to say, but you're like lagging and shit. Yeah, basically, just save your volley. Just save your volley. Like there are cases where
Yeah.
using it to get CS like that is okay. For you, just like don't use it unless you have a very good reason, right? We both know that you can use it correctly, right? Because we saw you do like that 3-in-1 volley where you hit Janna, you auto cancel, and you push a wave all at the same time. It was just like that was really good. And then we've seen volleys where like didn't do anything, right? You just put on cooldown, right? Might as well have
Yeah.
shot it into the forest. But yeah,
Right. I don't know
Just-
why that happens.
hold on to it. Hold on to it. When you don't know your exact usage of it, hold
Okay.
on to it. Okay, this is really good, right? You just arrow his ass and then he's dead, right? CC stacking,
Right.
sure,
I
it's
might
okay,
kill
whatever.
myself.
No, he can't reach you. Just right click away and you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
And
All
then
right. I want to say real quick. I don't know how long you want this to go, but I have like some questions like
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the
go for
end.
it, go for it. But yeah, this is
Okay.
I think we have
Just
the
like
general idea of what you want to work on, right? So hit me.
yeah. Okay, like these are really general questions, so
Yeah, yeah, go for it, go for it.
hold on.
We'll just let this play.
So I have like some like out of game and like some specific to in game, right? So one thing I really wanted to ask is like sort of like a mental thing is like I have like a lot of stuff. Like, I have a lot of specific skills like that I have written down, right? That I want to improve. But like in game, should I just try to like focus on all of them at the same time? You know, like CS, map awareness, trading, ability value, respecting like ability ranges on their part, or should I just try to like focus on like one for
Right,
time?
the classic answer is one at a time, right? You need if you try and focus on pressuring CS and like having good value on your spells in lane, and then also watching out for your jungle ganks, then it's like there's so much going on. It's like how can you do that, right? But I think like a better answer could be like have one for laning and then have one for like out of laning, right? So you say in lane, I'm gonna hold on to my volley until I have like very clear instances of when I want to volley, right? And I don't use it otherwise. And then after laning, you're like, oh, in team fights, I'm waiting for my arrow targets, right? And then in that way, maybe you can work on two things at once. But if you ever like get overwhelmed, it's like counterproductive, right? If you're like overwhelmed by the amount of stuff you're working on, that could be counterproductive.
Okay.
So basically as productive as you can be, right? So don't do like 5 things in lane, right? One thing in lane for sure. Like trying to do 2 things in lane is definitely gonna like trip you up. So yeah, focus like if you're gonna do multiple things, do it in like different stages of the game, right?
Okay.
Mid game, maybe we'll do lane priority, right? If I can get lane priority, I'll push out and then I'll go ward. Or if they have lane priority, I'm just gonna try and minimize their lane priority, or try and hit them when they go for their push, right? Something like that. But then don't mix multiple things in one area of the game, right? If you do team fighting, you're like trying to figure out, make a plan, and then also positioning and also map awareness, and then also trying to figure out their cooldowns. That's like impossible, right? You need to do one thing at a time in that area of the game. So yeah, that's my answer for that.
Okay. So like do one thing for a while, and then once I feel I have a handle on it, like switch.
Yeah, once you know, it's gotten
And
better. Like once you know, like you watch your replay, and every single volley has been good, right? 5 out of 5 volleys in the whole lane were really good. And you're like, oh, okay, now I can start working on something else. And then you keep that volley thing going, right? You don't just like, oh, it's good, so I don't have to like worry about it ever again. You just have to keep it up, right? You have to keep that thing going, right? So these arrows are like really good. So I wouldn't worry about like your arrows or whatever, right? So,
I was thinking maybe I could have been even greedier though there. Or no?
seems fine to me, honestly. Like
They seem pretty dead. Oh, okay.
basically, yeah, it seemed fine to me. But anyways, keep going with the questions.
Okay. So. Okay, so I have written down like long-term mentality. I think what I mean is like, so with League, like I come back to it a lot, but I always like quit for a long time, and I wish I don't know how to explain it, but like I wish I would just play it for a while, but I just like stop playing after a month every time or something. I just take a lot of breaks basically, and like I don't know, I want to like get a mentality where I don't want to just like stop, but I guess that's more of, I don't know if that's like your domain or what, but
so I guess that begs a question: like, why do you stop playing? Is it like not fun, or?
So it's just like
Why do you take a break?
Like I still like want to play, but like the act of playing like just stops being fun. But then when I come back, inevitably I'm like, well, I should have just. Why did I even stop? Because now I'm just gonna have to like backtrack and like relearn everything. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, if it's not fun, then I would say like, don't play. But if it is fun, or if you're like if you're trying to like find out like, you know, what makes this game fun again, maybe like try different champions, try different roles. I don't know. But if it's just like not fun, then I don't really see a way around like taking a break, if that makes any sense. Because sometimes you're like, oh, this game's not fun. You take a break, you come back to it, and you're like, oh, it's fun again because I haven't played in a while. I think that's just like a
Yeah.
That's just natural, right? Sometimes. So I guess I don't know, if you're like trying to figure out a way to keep League fun or keep having a reason to play League, maybe maybe like try and spice things up a bit or something, right? I mean, like, oh,
Yeah.
instead of Misfortune, I play Ashe, or instead of Ashe, I play Let's Learn Twitch or something, right? Let's play that stupid Star Guardian mode, right? I don't know, something,
Yeah.
but I think more something you would have to figure out yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. Um, I guess that segues well into like my next thing, which is like I sort of like LS is sort of like what made me like start getting better at the game. Like just watching LS, I really like the way he looks at the game and like like his analogies to Magic because I play Magic. But like I don't know if I like tunnel too hard on like what he says, and like it makes the game unfun for me or not. Because I like basically just like do what he says. Like I played like 300 games Misfortune this season just because I felt like I just wanted to prove, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like my favorite champions, I guess, would probably be Ezreal or like Lucian. But I don't know. Like I totally agree when he says like it's not beneficial to improve with them because they're like kind of intense, or at least Ezreal. But at the same time, I don't know if I'm like sacrificing fun or not. Like, do you think that's an issue? Because I
It's
know
like
you've said just play whatever.
yeah, I mean, I'm always a proponent of play what's fun, right? But there's always like a balance, right? Because if you play something that's not fun, even though it's like strong, and you just play it and you play it and you play it and you're like, I'm not having fun in this game, then you should probably stop playing it, right? Because why are we playing this game in the first place, right?
Right.
But at the same time, if you're like, oh, both these champions are fun, but this one will help me improve better, then it's like, maybe you make that concession where you're like, oh, I'm gonna play Misfortune because I think she's still fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I would say,
Okay.
play what's like best, unless it's like not fun at all, right? Unless it's just like, unless it's like screw this, and in which case you say something like, play something that's fun, but at least will help you a little, right? So like Ezreal, probably not so much, but you enjoy like what do you enjoy, Ash? Right? I don't know. Do you?
Kind
Do
of.
you enjoy
I
Ash?
like Ash, but I'm tilted by how bad I am. I feel like I'm bad at Ash, and my win rate reflects that.
Well, maybe just try something else, right? Basically, try stuff until something works, right? That's usually what
All
I do,
right.
right? Try stuff until it
Okay.
works, and then go from there. So yeah, like there's
Okay.
merit to both arguments, right? So I would say it's not really a like a hard yes or hard no, or I think it's like very much a gray area where it differs from person to person. Like someone will be like, oh, I can play any champion and have equally as fun, so I'll play this that makes me
Right.
improve the most, right? And then some people are like, fuck this, I'm playing Riven only, right? So it differs.
Yeah.
And people both sides have seen success, so it's not like you
Yeah.
can say one side is 100% right or 100% wrong, right?
Yeah. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm sort of having fun as long as I'm like improving and winning to some extent. So,
Yeah, me too.
um, uh, what else? Okay. So like, as far as like clicking and stuff, do you think it is to like focus on like getting like more value out of clicks, sort of like abilities? Is that
I
like
would
too advanced?
say that's like really advanced, right? That's like, so I got the challenger before I even started working on that, right? But if you do want to work on stuff like that, you watch replays of Deft and Bang and stuff. They click very close to their champions. They click in these diagonal areas, right? So you can dodge skill shots either way. But like we're at the point where you don't need to dodge Ash Arrow with your heal, for example, or like
Yeah.
what's like another example? Like Elise Cocoon with your heal. That's like a classic example. Do you need to do that? That would be really hard.
No.
And it's even hard for me. So, but if you want to work on something like that, maybe you can copy what they do, or maybe practice clicking closer to your champion so you can react faster, stuff like that. But I would say like
Okay.
that's not like an issue that most people need to work on. Like maybe if you've never played a video game
Right.
before, right? Or
Yeah.
if you already know all these basic concepts and now your mechanics are in question, then that would be it, right? But I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just watching my Flash W.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that too. That happens. That happens to a lot of.
I don't know if that was
Flash
W
players.
Flash or
W Flash, because it'll W will go to where it's
Okay, so
oriented. There's some spicy shit going on. Anyways, continue on with your line of questioning.
okay. Would you recommend looking? Because you've already recommended like looking at replays. Would you recommend doing that after like every game, like close games, or just whenever, like every once in a while, or
Every game, right?
what do you
Because
think is the most
sometimes
beneficial?
you need to figure out. You need like after this coaching session is over, and I'm telling you what you need to work on. After you work on that, you're like, what do I need to work on next? So the way you figure that out is you watch your own replay, right? And you say, oh, what's my biggest hole in my gameplay, right? What is it now? And then you figure that out by writing down these kinds of mistakes or things you haven't been doing well. And then it's like, oh, last 7 games, I keep getting caught trying to get mid priority. So for my next 7 games, I'm gonna work on mid priority, and then all of a sudden, your mid priority is good, your using your abilities is good, everything is good, and then you have something else you need to work on, right? So very much you need to look at your games every after every game. Like when you're waiting for another game, that's what I do. Is I go through my game like, oh, what did I do bad here? What did I not do so well? And I write it down, right? And you make notes.
Okay. Yeah, I use this sticky note app. I actually got that from you.
Nice,
I like it a
nice.
lot.
Yeah, me too. I still use that. Yeah, but like if you can't watch the whole thing for whatever reason because it's like too boring or some shit, at least what I do is go through deaths and I'm like, oh, this is stupid. Why did I do that? Stuff like that. So.
Okay. Okay, so I've written like, how do I check if a plan is good quality? Because like you can't always be like results oriented because sometimes something will work out even if it's a bad plan. Right? So how do I know?
To make the most accurate plan is the most like there's no other outcome other than this plan's outcome. Like for example, my plan is I'm going to flash his Malphite ult, and he has no flash. So the only outcome is that you're gonna flash it as long as your mechanics are good enough for it, right? There's no other outcome. That's how you know the plan is good. It's solid. If it's something like I need to flash a LeBlanc, I need a flash, like what's another example? I need a flash Malphite ult. Let's do this again, right? But this time Malphite has flash and he's on top of you. That plan doesn't work because the execute, while in theory it's like it seems good, right? You have flash, he has ult, you're gonna flash it, he's on top of you, and it's literally like almost impossible to figure out when he's going to ult you, right? So basically how accurate the plan is based on how likely it is to succeed, if that makes any sense. I don't know. And the most likely is 100%, right? So if you throw an arrow on a stun target, that's 100%, right? Assuming no QSS, clans, or Mikhails, right? Something like that is 100%. So usually what people say in lane is, if I play Caitlyn and my support is Taric or Alistar, I say, the instant they CC, I'm going to put a trap on them. That's 100%, right? That kind of plan is 100%. So anything that gets more advanced than that, it's like it's all like same, right? It's all the same, right? If you say I'm gonna flash this Gragas ultimate after he E-flashes me, it's 100%. He can't stop you, right? This Jarvan is ulting this Kog'Maw, and he's like, this is 100% because Kog'Maw can't flash out. I know he has no flash. Stuff like that. You deal with as many certainties as you can, and that's how you like come up with your plans, right? So in this case, it's like right, the arrow is like I don't know. Like, is there like what's the plan here?
Like, yes. I think I was waiting for knockup, but they can't follow up, so it's not 100%.
Right, there's just too many variables. I don't know what's going on here. If I were you, I would have saved everything, right? If you can't figure out what's going on for whatever reason, like this shit is I don't know what's going on, you like hit the closest target, you play safe, you wait until you can come up with something, right? And then it could be as simple as Kog'Maw flashes in, oh, I can arrow him, 100%, right? Plan's good. But if you jump the gun, you limit all your options. You have no options after you jump the gun. Is basically what happens. So you hold on to your shot until an opportunity presents itself, right? It's better to never use it than it is to use it and fail, right? Because like we saw in lane, every time you used volley, you couldn't do anything. But if you just didn't do anything, you just stood there and didn't use volley, you could still use the volley afterwards, right? So there's like no going back once you've used it, right? So every time you do something, it better be like better have good impact, if that makes any sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
the plans are like built from other good small plans, like we discussed, like hitting a stun target that can't move and stuff like that. And then you start to build like more intricate plans once you've like get more practice at that, if that makes any sense, right?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so
Like, what
I
is
guess
like
my
his
last
plan is dying
question-
to the tower. I don't know what that was. But anyways, sorry. What were you saying?
Like, so you have like plans on the thing that's like your biggest weakness, like whatever's the worst you should work on, right?
Wait, say again?
I kind of think that you've said that like you should work on whatever is like the worst or like what
Yeah,
you need to
yeah,
improve the most.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like for me, I feel like even though I'm okay at it in certain situations, I feel like my like map awareness and like sort of just awareness of like enemy items, that kind of thing, is like so low that my plan quality suffers because I'm not taking everything into account.
Right. Then
So
you
should
work
I
on that
like
first, right?
before like planning, or like is that like the same thing?
If your awareness is, if your plans are going south because your awareness is not there, like that happened to me earlier when I was like, I was so unaware of like flanks and TP flanks that when I made my plans, it would like fall, it would fail because of a TP flank. Then I was like, okay, I need to work on my map awareness, right? And you work on your map awareness until, you know, every time you're like, oh, a fight breaks out, the first thing you think is, where's their top laner, right? Then when I started doing that, then my plans started to, what's it called? Factor in the enemy TP and the top laner stuff, right? That's how you like kind of work on those things. You're like, oh, where's the missing LeBlanc? It's like he's behind you or some shit like that, and then he comes up behind you and you arrow him because that's part of your plan, right? You know he's gonna be behind you, something like that.
Okay.
Right? So if you need to work on the map awareness because your plans are failing because of the kind of awareness, then that's what you do, right? You work on that. You definitely focus on that, and you obviously still make plans during the game, but your main focus is the map awareness before you do anything, right? So instead of joining the fight, maybe you take a second or half a second to think, do I see everyone on the map, right? Do I see where everyone is?
Yeah, because some of it's like you can almost like lean on your experience. Like as long as you're paying attention, like you'll just know what to do. But if you're not paying attention, you like will do the wrong thing.
Right.
I think. Okay, so that's all my questions I've written down. I guess I wanted to ask like, what happened this game? Because I felt like I was like, and it just like went downhill.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can discuss that real quick. There were like some fights that went south. There was like some really good mid roams and rotations, and then where was it? This the first fight that went wrong was like around here or something. Right, Lulu died, right? If I recall correctly, when you're like taking this fight. So when you take a fight, why do you take a fight? Because you're stronger than them. How do you know you're stronger than them? You don't know you're stronger than them. So that's why this is 100% loss, right? You have no arrow. So they had everything. You guys are missing an important ability, right? You can't win. That's how you know. It'd be different if you had like TF ult or something, right? Or your jungler was here. But it was just a straight 2v2. And then since you guys continue this, of course you're gonna lose. It's 4v5, right? So that's why.
And that's just kind of.
And then it's just yeah. If you want to like keep going about all this stuff, it's like sometimes it was like a missed arrow that cost a fight or something like that. But stuff like that is what's going to kind of turn the game, right? So now it's like even, right? You guys are sieging, sure, looking for an opportunity. Okay, you guys are trying to make this play happen, defending the tower, and like didn't go well. Sure, it's like not really your fault. You went for the arrow, and then like or you missed the roll. That's fine. Like if this was better coordinated, it would have worked 100%. I think. That Kog'Maw didn't think that arrow was coming out. And then like there's like this fight that happened here, right? What's going on here? This is like, is this go well? It doesn't seem too bad, honestly. Oh yeah, it does go well, right? Everyone just like dies. Seems good, as long as you land your arrow. Seems pretty good. Oh yeah, okay. So missing arrow is like 0 contribution, right? So that's not good. And then there's like another missed arrow, right, at this mid tower fight, which we saw earlier. Which, well, not missed arrow, it hit earlier, but it was like not as good as it could have been, right? So basically, as Ashe, every time you miss arrow, it's like you can't fight for however long it's down, right? Because if you do fight, you're probably gonna lose. So this is the fight where this is like another missed arrow, right? So this is all like kind of mechanics or maybe holding on to abilities kind of thing until you can find something, and it's like it's kind of awkward how everyone just dies. I think this is a 4v5 too because TF is dead. Right. TF is just dead.
Should I have been there quicker? Or should
No. It's just your team. You just ping back because your team shouldn't be trying to do anything. Like this right here. You're chasing Aurelia, you lose 4v5. Right. So clear 4v5. So obviously you're gonna lose. The fact that it was like, it looked like maybe it could have been salvaged. Nah, there's no way. Right. Let's be honest. There's just no way.
Yeah, it's over.
They could play like monkeys. It doesn't even matter. It's 4v5. Right. So that's why you guys lose Inhibitor and you lose Baron. Right.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. So both of those are basically like missed arrows and like just kind of team
missed arrows and not knowing when you wanted to fight, right? Remember, when you want to fight, you need a clear reason, right? I want to trade because I'm gonna die. I'm going to trade because my trading is stronger than his due to matchup. I want to trade because he's missing an ability, right? And then if you ever fight when all those things are untrue, right? I'm missing the ability and then I try and fight. That's a throw, right? Because your Lulu is gonna die or whatever because you have no arrow, stuff like that. So make sure that everything you do, that's why everything you do has to be consistent, like 90%, because every time it's not, you're like flipping a coin and then no one knows who's going to win. Or maybe not even flipping a coin. Maybe it's worse. Maybe it's like rolling a dice and then if it doesn't land a 1, it's going to lose, right? Which is like fighting for your arrow. So focus on those kinds of like knowing, that's kind of like the typical, higher ranked players know what to do. This is like kind of like what they're talking about, is that they know that they don't want to do X, or they know they want to do X because of this, right? You have to be able to come up with a reason for why you do what you do, right? So yeah, that's what I would say what we're wrong, because all it takes is one mistake for Kog'Maw to start becoming annoying, right?
Yeah.
That one kill bot was like probably shouldn't have happened, right? So and then that could lead into other things, and then because he got like stronger and you couldn't use your arrows in your fights correctly, it's just like the game devolved into he just presses W and hits the closest target, right? So something like that. Yeah, that's the end result. And if it seems unfair, it is unfair. Solo queue is unfair. You have to, in order to climb, you have to be you have to be so good that you can win the game by yourself. And you're one of 10 players, right? Yeah, that's why everything you do has to be good. Because if it's not true, if everything you do is 50%, then that's literally your rank, right? That's literally your rank. If everything is 50%, that's like you're at the rank you're at, right? You're at the correct rank. So, and if what you do is like always a throw, then of course you're gonna lose in the long run. But yeah, that's what I would say. That happens.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. Like if someone is stuck, it's because they're like taking coin flips without realizing it.
Right. Just not good enough, basically, right?
Yeah.
Not good enough to make the 100%, right? If you look at Apto, like wins all the time because he's not taking coin flips, right? He always has the consistent play, and then even Faker, who has the more aggressive style, his kind of is like quote unquote coin flips are not really coin flips because people are coming to his lane to try and mess with him, and that's absorbing jungle pressure, right? There's always a reason why these guys are winning consistently. So we just have to kind of have the same kind of reasoning, right? And then good to go.
All right.
So,
yeah.
For you, I would say definitely if you want to work on the mechanics aspect of the game, hold on to your abilities until you're like 100% sure this is like what you want to use it for. And in terms of like what to do, figure out like what you want to, like you said you're already doing the have a current plan and then update it if something happens. Keep that in mind for when like don't change it unless something significant happens, right? See champion, hit champion is not right. You want to fight when you have a reason. You always want to have a reason when you come up with something. And I think those two things will vastly help you out. Because that's like a lot of the problems that we saw this game and last game, right? Was those kinds of things.
Yeah, okay, so hold on to abilities and have a reason for fighting.
And then like for laning is important, right? This game was really good at look, you're like stomping these guys if I remember correctly. This is exactly what you want.
Yeah, I think lane.
And then the only thing that went wrong, like look, okay, so what happened is you stomped lane, you went mid, killed jungle, got dragon, got mid tower, and then you came back in 3, right? So that was like you were on the path to winning right there. That was like winning the game by yourself right there. That was that's literally what it was, right? Winning bot, wins bot, jungle Gragas came, you won jungle, right? And then you go mid, you won mid. You won 3 lanes in one. Just by yourself, by how good you played, right? So if you can keep that up and not make any throws per se, then you're good to go, right? This CS doesn't matter, right? Okay, this is like 74 at 12 minutes, whatever. Maybe not the best, but you had, in essence, you had the fundamentals down for the winning formula in solo queue, right? And then when you want to fight, you have to remember like clear reason why you want to fight. I think if you can fix that, that'll like help out a lot, right? Because that's a lot of times you were fighting when you didn't really want to, like against that Varus, right? Basically, we need to fix this first because it causes problems that doesn't really come up after you fix this, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I would say. That's
So,
my
like,
2 cents.
right, sounds good, man.
And if you have any questions, definitely feel free to hit me up. I'm always on Discord. Do you mind if this goes on YouTube?
No. I actually like that, so I could like watch
Go
it
back
later.
and like rewatch and everything. Nice. All right. Let me know how things go in solo queue, and good luck. Right? It's like night for you, I think.
All right. Yeah, it's like 8:30, so whatever.
Nice. Anyways, good luck in your games, and I hope you found this session to be useful.
All right, man. Thanks. Have a good day.
Yep. You too.
All right. See you later.